Now let's do some housekeeping. Okay, so starting with Shelley, let's make sure we know things both directions. So we know Shelley is not position 2, 4, or 5, and we know that sideways as well. We know Shelley has a green backpack, which we already know, and we know Shelley does not have the folder or the box. And oh, we didn't know that this way, so we're going to put an X for the box. And this also says she doesn't have the can, so we're going to add that in this direction too, so she doesn't have the can. Tatiana, let's see what we can say about her. Tatiana is not position 4 this way. In this direction, she's not 2, 4, or 5. So let's add that. So she's not 2. We already knew she wasn't 4 in this direction, but we can add that she's not 5. We know that Tatiana doesn't have a blue or green backpack in this direction, so let's add that here. She doesn't have blue or green, but here we already know she doesn't have brown. So let's add that. She doesn't have the brown backpack. And Tatiana doesn't have a folder, which we knew here, but she also doesn't have the can. So we're going to add that in this direction. All right, now let's look at Benny. Benny has the folder, and we know that in this direction. Benny does not have a blue or green backpack. We know that in this direction. And Benny is not 1, 2, or 4 position, and 1, 2, and 4. So we know everything already about Benny. So we're ready to keep going. And now Rachel's a little confused, and she doesn't know how to solve it yet. So she goes back to the lunchroom. I'm missing something, Rachel grimaced. I'm so close, but I can't figure it out. Is there anything else you can remember? The cafeteria lady wiped her hands on her apron and thought hard. Wait, let me think, she said, taking a long drink of coffee. I remember the kid with the box had a blue backpack. So the kid with the box had a blue backpack. So we're going to put that here. And X is in the rest of that row. And X in the rest of that column. And the kid with a folder had a black backpack. So the person with the folder had a black backpack. So we're going to put an O here, and X in the rest of that row, and X in the rest of that column. So what else can we tell? Well, we already knew the folder was the person with the short curls. So now we know that they're at the black backpack. So we're going to add that here, and X in the rest of that row, and X in the rest of that column. And we knew that whoever had the black backpack wasn't position 1, 2, or 3, so we can put that here, 1, 2, or 3. But we already knew he was in position 4, so that tells us he had to have been position 5. So we were going to put that there. And then because we already know that short curls has a folder and is in position 5, folder is in position 5, so I can put that O here, and X for the rest of that row. And I know that short curls and folder has the black backpack, so I can add that in this direction. So that's an O there for the black backpack for position 5. And I can put X in the rest of that row and X in the rest of that column. And I know that's Benny. Benny has the folder. He has the black backpack, so I'll put an O there and X in the rest of that row and X in the rest of that column. And we already know now that he is in position 5, so I'm going to add that in this direction, position 5, and X for the rest of that row. So that tells us some good stuff. And let's go, and we know that the kid who has had the box was wearing the blue backpack and also has the crew cut. So we know that whoever had the crew cut then had the box. So we're going to put an O here, and X is for the rest of that column, and X for the rest of that row. And the blue backpack, let's see, where's the blue backpack? Here. We know that that's not position 5, 2, or 1. So we're going to say whoever had the blue backpack is not position 5, 2, or 1. So I'm going to X out 2 and 1. We already had 5 X'd out. And we know that whoever had the box was not Benny, was not Dave, and was not Shelley. So we add that here. It was not Benny, was not Dave, and was not Shelley. We already knew it wasn't Tatiana. So that tells us whoever had the blue backpack was Jamal. So we're going to put an O there and X for the rest of that row. And so we know that that has to be Jamal's the one with the blue backpack holding the box. So I can put an O here. So X is for the rest of that row and column. And Jamal has the blue backpack, so O here, and X for the rest of that row and column. And he's in position 4. So Jamal, with his blue backpack, is in position 4, so I can put an O here. And I know he's carrying the box, so I can put an O here for position 4 in box, and X for the rest of that row and column. And Jamal is position 4, so I can put an O here, and X for the rest of that column and row. And then if we look up here in this first box here, oh, well, then that has to be Dave with the frizzy hair. So we have that for O. Dave has the can. And so now we know that the frizzy hair has the can. So we can put an O here and X for the rest of that column. And we know that Dave's in position 2. So whoever has the can is Dave with the frizzy hair. And he's in position 2. So I'm going to put an O here and X for the rest of that column. And what else do we know about Dave? That his backpack's either brown or red. All right, so we already know that. So if we go over to this place where the can column, then Dave has to have a black or brown or red, backpack. So he's not going to have a green backpack, so I'm going to put an X there.